welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about tool belts, and more specifically, a couple of tips to think about when you're considering purchasing a tool belt to help aid in the right sizing, pockets, comfort, durability, and some other tips when going about purchasing a tool belt. Tool belts are designed to make professionals more efficient. For example, it may just look like a whole assortment of random pockets, but there is a science to this madness. For example, hammering. I'm a righty, got my right hand here, got my hammer in a right hand spot. And these pockets right here, I don't have any nails in them now, but this is where I put nails on the left hand side. So you can pull it out, nails, boom, go. Same thing with a pencil. I don't have a speed square here, but got a carpenter's pencil. You'd pull it out on the opposite hand. So there's a lot of science, and not science, but a lot more thought that goes into the efficiency when picking a tool belt. So it's not just, don't just go about picking random tool pouches and tool belts. They're designed, as I said, to make you more efficient. Instead of having to carry trips, go back and forth, but have everything you need in reach. The more used tools, like a hammer or pencil, are more towards the front, and the lesser used tools are in the back a little bit more, like a clamp or something like that. So you need to think about what type of job are you doing, what tools do you need most often, and how heavy duty is your workplace situation. Are you working full time, or is this just a small little gig that you just want an extra little helper on the side of your pocket to hold a hammer or pencil or something else? As I mentioned earlier, pockets is going to be one of the first things you're going to want to look at when deciding what tool belt you're going to be using. For example, framers, finishers, or roofing, flooring, there's all different types of uses for these ones, and that because they use different tools, there's different layouts that fit these tools better. So research what you're going to be doing and what tools you need. For example, I have a general tool belt setup right here. This is our dog's top grain setup. Got general pouch on the right side, hammer holder on the back, and framing pouch on the left. As I mentioned, hammer here or on the back, quickly in either situation. And because I'm a righty, that's where I have a lot more of my smaller tools. Like I got this wire cutters right here, needle nose pliers, little wrench for changing saw blades, different things on the right side, because that's where I have my finer, smaller things that need more pockets. Screwdriver, utility knife, really used often, so that's in the front. However, my left side, because I'm a righty, my left hand isn't quite as nimble with the fine touch. So instead I have some bigger pockets. Like I have this giant open pocket that I can hold over 5 pounds of nails with. Right now I have a drill in there. Not necessary, but this one is quite big. So you can really just throw a whole drill in here and put speed square, nails, all sorts of bigger things on this side because, like I said, my right hand is more nimble. I can grab these pliers, whereas my left, I'd rather a little bit more just grab in there, grab something big. So think about your righty, lefty. Sorry, lefties, most tool belts are designed for righties for now, but just think about what pockets you're gonna need, how many little tool holders like screwdrivers, pliers, or even smaller like drill bit indexes you're going to want, and then start to narrow down your search results. One of the next things you should consider is the durability, which is very important if you're working with this often. This right here is our dog's top grain line. It's made of extra thick leather and it's going to last a long time. There are other tool belts made out of leather, some skinnier, some thicker, and others out of nylon or canvas. So you need to think about what are you doing and what do you want. Leather is going to be a little bit more heavy, but it does have some more long-lasting life than a nylon equivalent. That leather is going to be able to last you more years than most nylons. Of course, it depends on your situation. If you're doing something really aggressive, if you're running around, if you're in snowstorms and rain, you might not be able to get any tool belt to last more than 5 years if you're really hammering it. But think about that durability and know that not all tool belts are equal. There are a lot of leather ones that may have some similar pockets or something like this, but they're a fourth, 25% as thick as this leather here. This leather is going to hold up way longer than just some cheap little skinny leather piece one on Amazon or Home Depot. So you need to think about, is it worth the investment? Or because it is an investment. You can either purchase one tool belt that lasts you 10, 15, 20 plus years, like these top grain ones here, or you can keep purchasing every year or every couple months, a couple of cheap ones. So for me, I'd rather save up a little bit, make a big purchase, and know it's going to last me a long time, have all my setup nicely, rather than just get a bunch of cheap ones. year after year after year. Another thing you might not think of is comfort. You're going to be wearing this maybe 8+ hours a day, so you want this to be comfortable. This right here is a 3-inch wide belt, so that's going to really do a good job dispersing the weight off my hips and onto my belly a little bit and be much more comfortable than a really narrow or sometimes nylon, if it's too narrow of a belt. That can really pinch you and really squeeze you in, which we don't want. So I recommend getting something wider like this, or sometimes there's 2-part belts that have a smaller inner piece and then it has a back padding part to it. So think about that when you're working with them. Other alternatives include a type of vest or suspenders, but it depends on your feel, because some people feel suspenders limit their overhead motion because it's pulling down their shoulders a bit. So it's really up to you to think about that comfort and the tool belt with you. Leather, another benefit with leather is that it's going to start to mold to you. You can already see that it's starting to curve to my hips a little bit here, and the more I use it, the more it's going to fit perfectly to my own tools and body and remain in that position. So that's another benefit of leather, whereas nylon doesn't really retain any positioning. The next tip is to make sure you have the right tool belt for what you're doing. Tool belts, manuals, guidebooks, they may have one, they may not, but they generally have specific use cases that they're recommended for and certain situations that they're not. Don't try and put yourself or your tool belt in a situation that it's not meant to handle. If you're loading up 20 pounds you're putting tons of nails on each side and it's only meant to hold a little bit, if it's a really thin leather, a little cheap nylon one, you're putting yourself or others in danger or just planning to make a mess if it rips. So understand the capabilities and the specific use cases of your tool belt and act accordingly. If your tool belt isn't meant to do something, maybe it's okay for a little bit, but don't push it too much. One final thing you're going to need to take into consideration is fitting. Fitting is very important because you can't wear a tool belt if the belt's too short or it's way too long or whatever. I know I keep talking about this R-Dog one right here, but the fitting fits nearly everyone. It goes all the way down to a 27-inch person, and then it has this extra bit that can go up to 54 inches. So that's big. For me, it's going to flap off a little bit, but what you can do is go a couple loops, cut it, and it'll work great. But you need to think about how big are you, make sure it fits you, and go from there. Also the pouches. If you're a small guy, getting these giant pouches, getting this really heavy unit might not be the best thing for you. That over time, yeah, you'll probably be fine, but it's probably going to be a big adjustment if you go from 0 to hero with nothing on to 10 pounds loaded on your hips with a skinny belt. Ease yourself into it, kind of. A good tool belt is critical to a carpenter, professional, homeowner, or anyone who's trying to get some real work done. Yeah, you'll probably be okay if you're just doing a little bit of changing a light fixture, changing a little screw here and there. You can carry those tools, you can put it on the ground, you can bend over, whatever. But if you're putting some hours in every day, a tool belt is nearly a non-negotiable, or as a pouch or whatever it is. So hopefully these tips were useful to you in terms of the durability, materials a little bit, and thinking about that right hand, left hand, dominant and non-dominant sizing with the pouches when you go about purchasing your tool belt. We sell this tool belt here individual. You can buy a single pouch, back hammer holder, or belt. Visit us at rdawg.com, rdawg.com, or purchase any one you want that fits. Whatever, just get one that works for you. That's all that matters. Have a good day. Bye.